Hello, and welcome back to Hood Court, and welcome back to GTA 4. Music one thing. Second. Go. Perfect. This is going to be a little bit of going around, getting a couple of police chases because of shootout. Bits and bobs go on. Now, I want to talk about a number of things, and I'm just going to bring something up on my second monitor. Yeah, it's amazing. Got the second monitor set up. I will be doing a setup video, a new one, at some point, not sure when. So, the first one, we'll start with ISIS, I think. And the issues with ISIS. So you have a pre-cap like share. As you probably know, ISIS are at the moment in control of a large amount of Iraq and Syria, and is a fight and a sieging of quite a fairly large city on the Turkey border. Nothing's been done, which is actually causing a lot of issues, because the Kurds are at the moment having so the Kurds are a group of people that found in Iraq, Syria, and Turkey, and the Kurds in Turkey have been fighting for independence for quite some time now, and the fact that Turkey aren't getting involved in the siege to try and stop it is not making it any better, and there are political issues around invading Syria, chief among which is President Assad, who's been fighting the rebels for over a year now, I believe, from memory. It's over a year from memory, and he managed to hold them to an extent, not particularly well, to a point. You know, Syria is actually where ISIS sort of developed. A lot of people went out. Britons went out. Multiple people from Turkey crossed the border. People from Iraq. Multiple people went out to Syria to help with the rebels. Although it is technically terrorism, and people then, when they came back, were arrested for terrorism charges, because although it's fighting something that isn't approved, it is still you are still a rebel, and you are still technically causing terrorism offences. It's the same thing for anyone fighting for ISIS. Anyone fighting for ISIS, one needs to be killed, shot, really, because what is happening is just completely wrong. It's not right. Children being killed for no real reason, and really there is no need. ISIS are just basically bastards. They really just need to just not exist anymore, because it's just pointless, and it's just not worth. What they're fighting for, Islamic State, is basically just complete crap. It is complete crap. They're fighting for basically a state where they can do pretty much whatever they like, and it follows Islamic rules, which aren't that great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not great. Now you see here, I'm about to kill this guy. That's because I need to go and chase after the other people. I wouldn't want to. But any British people out in Iraq or Syria fighting for ISIS, when they come back, Now, one of these people is actually a British, is I believe a 15-year-old girl, and something happened in Vegas, which is nice of it. Yeah, this is quite beautiful. One of those, I believe, is a 14 or 15-year-old girl that's gone out to fight with them, which is just ridiculous. Now, I'd like to say I wouldn't kill her, but the thing is you can't start making exceptions. To people, because it just doesn't work, and you're having double standards, and that's something that shouldn't be done at all. Anyone who's British or anyone fighting for ISIS that tries to get back into the UK, or any European country for that matter, should be arrested immediately. At the gate, they should be arrested, armed police, arrest them, carry them off as terrorists. That's what they are. People are like, well, they're not. They're trying to. They are. And so it's the same with the rebels in Syria last year. Yes, technically they are fighting a regime that uses that uses chemical weapons on civilians. They use cruise missiles on civilian buildings, and yes, that's wrong. However, starting a rebel war is not the way forwards. It is illegal to do that as a member of the UN and EU. You cannot go and fight with rebels, regardless of what they're fighting for. And because we didn't do anything about the rebels last year, ISIS have turned up, because Muslim fighters are often in rebel situations allowed to come in because they tend to have a lot more funding. This is where Al-Qaeda came in during the Russian war in Afghanistan. Al-Qaeda came out of that. We supplied rebels in Afghanistan with Stinger missiles and heavy machine guns to fight off the Russians, and then when we invaded Afghanistan, they started using the weapons we supplied them to shoot us down, which, you know, isn't a good idea. Luckily the Kurds fighting in Syria and Iraq against ISIS are quite a lot of them are part of the military. They've got very communication with the military in Turkey, and also the military in Iraq, which is able to relay information on. Obviously we have the US and the UK, and I believe Turkey are doing airstrikes. However, they're having limited success. There is a video which, if I remember, I will link down below, or you can just search attack chop or Apache gun cam, and then put like insurgent, something like that, kills insurgents. And I saw it on a Facebook group, and the thing was, this should be an ISIS recruitment video, and basically 3 insurgents get blown completely up. It's not particularly graphic. It is just, you can see the pure power of a cannon, an auto cannon. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that our military going in, and the SAS have went into Syria not late last week, I think Friday or Saturday, and they did help stop a convoy of ISIS troops going into the besieged town near the Syrian border with AW50 sniper rifle. There's only 2 of them. We are sending about 5 troops. There are 5 troops out there now for a couple of weeks, training Kurds to use heavy machine guns and mortars, which personally I'd rather we didn't have troops on the ground. However, if it stops us having to do a full military invasion, I'm for it. Whether that does happen, I don't know. I would obviously prefer we didn't go back in after the complete clusterfuck we had last time. Now, normally I wouldn't use that word, but I'm going to have to because it was a complete cock up all the way through, and it's no better now. And well, airstrikes work, but only to a point, and we need people on the ground, such as Kurd fighters, doing a great job under the conditions. Somehow they're managing to hold them off and they've managed to push back a little bit. It's still not great, they're still not doing a good job they could be doing with enough weapons and enough supplies to be given to them. Although we're not allowed to do that because of, well, why not? Basically, nothing makes sense. The whole thing's a complete mess, and yeah, if you know anyone who is thinking of going and fighting for ISIS, just show them one of those videos. Now, the next thing I'm sort of going to come on to is a very similar thing. You may have seen on the news, ISIS are threatening beheadings on the UK soil. Now, if this happens, there was near Anarchy when Lee Woodley was killed, was beheaded, was it a year ago or 2? And if we start having more, there will be a civil war, and it won't be pretty, it won't be good, and it will ruin this country entirely. We will have massive issues, and although personally I think anyone that does that deserves it, anyone that beheads someone should be killed, and painfully ideally. I was thinking there's a couple of ways to do it. You can do you get copper wire, you wind around the chest. If you electrocute them, they suffocate. It's quite painful. You shoot them with a kneecap, that's really painful. It's all tendons and muscle around the knee, and that's the fact that it's very, very painful now. In fact, it's so painful if you shoot both kneecaps, you can die from just a shock, the pain. Now that's one way of thinking. The other way, just cut an arm off or something, just let them slowly bleed to death. That's quite a good way, I think. What else was I thinking? Put them in a luggage compartment of a plane, let them freeze to death. That's quite painful, I would have thought. Don't really know what else. There's quite a lot. I think more painful the better. If there are people that are coming back from fighting with ISIS, the lucky thing you'll do is get arrested by the police. The unlucky thing is you'll see you have someone that is rather angry at them, and they probably won't survive. Really, which one I'm going to side with, I'm not going to say, but I would rather they weren't put in prison just because of money, and we haven't got the places. Now, actually going back to Lee Woodley, his killers have asked to be moved to a different ward because of bullying in prison. I think, well, I'll go into a bit more detail. Basically, they've had prisoners trying to break down their cell door, which is very interesting. If you don't know, the prison inmates, depending on what you've done, depends how you get treated. So, robbery, just sort of, depending if it's a house robbery, you're quite low down in the chain. They don't particularly like you, but they're not going to hurt you particularly very much. Murderers, bank robbers, they tend to be higher up the chain. But people with people who sort of murder children or rape them or kidnap them, they're at the right at the bottom, and they are quite often put in a secure wing because of it. Also, anyone that assaults or kills military personnel are quite often down in there as well, because prisoners tend to be quite patriotic and support military. A lot of them were in it, so I'm not surprised that they're being attacked. And to be fair play to the inmates. If I was the prison guards, I'd probably unlock the door for them, give them a baton, and taser them or something, Now, so if someone does go outside this and come back and go to prison, don't have the same treatment. If they haven't had their balls fired into space by an attack heli, which we're playing, either or is quite funny actually, personally. Now, I'm going to move on to my last point, I believe. Looking at timing. Now, you may know, the last couple of weeks have been talking about Jeremy Clarkson's Porsche in Argentina with the number plate. The number plate which has 982 and FKL in it. And so Argentina have been saying that it was 1982, and FKL refers to the Falklands. Now, 1982 was the Falkland War, the year of the Falkland War. No help from nobody else, and we smacked their ass at it. And unfortunately, the thing about the Irish is they just can't leave it. They invaded the Falklands. No one wanted them. None of the people that lived there wanted them. They then took over the island. By the time our forces got there, it was sort of 4 weeks later or something like that. It's quite a long journey down, and yeah, we lost 2 ships, the Coventry, and I can't remember what the other one is now. I can't remember what the other one was, but I know the HMS Coventry was sunk. Because another one sunk as well, and I believe we had a Harrier shot down or 2. It was also the only operation that the Vulcan bomber was used in anger. It flew a there and back flight, from the UK to the Falklands and back to, I can't remember where they flew back to. They didn't fly direct back to the UK. They flew and refueled somewhere else, I think, from memory. And it was used to bomb the runway on the Falklands, stop any Argentine planes taking off again. It's a nice bit of history, and basically the RGs just can't lose. See, the thing is Germany, we beat them twice. The thing is Germany now, not everyone, but a lot of Germans now, whenever we mention a war, they're like, yeah, well, okay. They don't not bother about it anymore. To be fair, they never were particularly, because a lot of the Germans, sort of halfway through the war, were fed up with the war and they didn't like Hitler anyway. So the fact that the war was over was enough for them. The thing is, the Argentines just they can't believe it. What we need to do is we need to send a German over. Now, Angela Merkel might be an idea. A couple of German comedians might not be a bad idea. But basically, just send some Germans over and give the Argies a lesson in losing. It's quite easy. What you do is you grow a pair and just man up a bit and just accept the fact that you lost. Accept the fact that you went against the greatest navy and the greatest air force in the world and the greatest ground forces and lost. You should respect that right now. We are well known. Well, we were at the time. We haven't got such a great navy now, but we have some of the best. Well, we have the best troops in the world. All apart from the Spetsnaz. Are trained by our SS and Raw Commandos. The Americans, a lot of American soldiers would prefer, really like working British, because no matter how dire the situation looks, soldiers are always happy, apparently. British soldiers always go ready. Now, Argentines need to learn that if you're gonna invade an island, you've got to face the consequences. When you lose, you lose, and basically you just got to lose. And taking the man up, stop whining, stop kicking people out of countries and throwing stones at them, and basically attempting murder. And grow a pair. Stop getting annoyed by a number plate. A number plate can never offend someone. A number plate is like me walking down the street with a very, very small, almost invisible, pin that says something offensive, I don't know, but not really very offensive, like your mom's a whore, that sort of thing. That sort of thing, just got a tiny little pin, so you can barely read it. That's how offensive a number plate gets, and I actually termed it at another point was, a number plate is as offensive as me walking past a house on a Sunday. You can't get offended by someone walking past a house once. Just walking past, on the path, just, walking past, on a nice sunny Sunday in June. And I think really they just need to pack it in and, grow some. Now, that appears to be the end of the video, so I'm going to leave it here. Hope you enjoyed. Got any questions, leave them below. Hope you enjoyed this sort of back footage. I just played along and recorded it. It was a bit of fun. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Sorry about the lack of videos, like college and stuff to be doing. But hopefully we'll have some every now and then. But thanks. Bye.